Lucha Underground.
Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Tyler. Welcome back to the Tyler Williams channel. Welcome to another Lucha Underground review. We just got off the third episode of the fourth season of Lucha Underground, known as Rest in Pieces. As you guys know from last week, it was advertised that it was going to be a triple threat, grave consequences match. I was super excited for it, as we've seen the previous three. I believe two of them involved Mil Muertes and Phoenix, if not just one of them. No, I'm correct. I think two of them involve Mil Muertes and Phoenix. So this is the third one that involves Mil Muertes and Phoenix. So I was automatically excited because, you know, those two always tear it up. But now you have the addition of Jeremiah Quayne, otherwise known as Sami Callihan, and you know how crazy that motherfucker can get. So I was just really excited for the show going into it, and I thought they really delivered. I'll be getting to that in a few minutes, but before I do, I have a special guest with me here today who will also watch the episode and enjoyed it, and I'm bringing him on to help me with this review. Please welcome my good friend, Alex. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good, brother. You know, it's been a while since I've done reviews with you. I believe the last one that I did was either a Raw and SmackDown almost 2 years ago, but it's been a long time, yeah. But like I said, I'm stoked about this episode. You know, hopefully I can keep on doing this for a while, and hope your fans like my take on what I thought how Lucha Underground was.
Yeah, Alex is a really big fan of Lucha, not just Lucha Underground, but just everything Lucha Libre, you know. So I'm like, okay, well, definitely got to bring him on to help me with this review, because why not? But this episode was not like too big in the sense that there was like 4 or 5 matches. It was a 2-match show and only one segment, so I don't expect this to be a really long episode, but without further ado, let's get into it. So we started off the episode with a segment with, I believe his name is Ricky Mundo? Yeah, Ricky Mundo.
Yeah,
with
Ricky.
his doll. Do you know what his doll's name was? I think it was like Rosa or some dumb shit.
Yep, his doll is Rosa, and he's known as Ricky Mundo here in Lucha Underground, but he's one of our most popular indie talents in California by the name of Ricky Mandel, and believe it or not, yep, he's one of the most popular ones. So when us, you know, Californians saw him on Lucha Underground, you know, it was a stoke for us because he's from my area, the Southern California area. When I saw him in Lucha Underground, I'm like, he's making it. And, you know, the gimmick he's doing right now is the same one he's doing outside of Lucha Underground. So he started that gimmick here in Southern California and just incorporated it into Lucha Underground. And seeing it, you know, on a giant platform is amazing. But creepy as well. It trips you out a little bit.
Hey, well, definitely all the power to the man. I didn't know who he was prior to this, especially because considering I only watched like one episode from season 3 Lucha Underground. Yeah, I know. Burn me at the stake, guys. I'm so sorry. I only seen one. I only seen one episode from season 3. I did not go back to watch any of it. I watched the clips on YouTube from the Lucha Underground YouTube channel. But I just didn't watch any of the full episodes. But yeah, I know. I'm so terrible. So anyway, Ricky Mundo was talking to PJ Black, who now has green and purple hair for some reason. I have no idea. First of all, what I always find weird is when people have like this really vibrant, bright, loud colored hair, but then their beard is black. It just looks so weird. I'm like, I always find like if you're gonna dye your hair, at least cut your beard off. It's like otherwise, it's like when you dye your hair, you're most likely not going to dye your eyebrows. So your eyebrows are always going to be a dead giveaway what your natural hair color is. But when your eyebrow and your hair and your beard is the same color, but your hair is completely off, it's like you look like a whole weirdo, man. Like I don't know what's going on with his hair, or if that was a wig. I don't know what was going on there. But it was him.
Like I said, probably,
and
you know,
one of my favorites in Lucha Underground. We don't see enough of him. One of my favorites, Jack Evans, was there. I was very excited to see him. Ricky Mundo was talking about his doll, Rosa. PJ and Jack Evans were giving him the biggest, excuse me, what? Face. It was hilarious throughout this entire segment. Johnny Mundo and Taya came to frame talking about how they are declaring war with the Lizard Tribe, which is led by Cobra Moon. I forgot what his name is in Lucha Underground, but I know him as the Luchasaurus. And a few other guys that are there. I don't know if Paul London's in that group or not, but he's declaring war the Lizard Tribe, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna need PJ to take him out, and PJ's like, no, he needs Jack to take him out, and Jack's like, I got an appointment, I gotta go. So then, I believe they go out of it or something, and Johnny's ends up saying that Angelico's gonna do it. Where's Angelico at? And they're like, well, oh no, Angelico is Angelico hurt, or is he just not in Lucha Underground anymore? Because I haven't seen Angelico in a long time either.
But what I looked at the roster, I think he's hurt, because God Jesus, Angelico. If he doesn't hurt himself in Lucha Underground, he hurts himself somewhere else.
Yeah, the guy's. It's sad because the guy's kind of injury prone, but he's a really, really good high flyer.
Actually,
I've always been a big fan of
actually,
Jack Evans and Angelico in Lucha Underground, especially in that first season. Man, they were lighting.
actually, ignore what I said. I'm looking at the updated roster, and he's gone actually from Lucha Underground now.
Oh, that sucks. Well, this season's definitely slimmed down a lot of the roster. So
Yeah, well, it's because if you don't know, or if your fans don't know, Lucha Underground is a subsidiary of Lucha Libre AAA. The one of the biggest companies in Mexico. So when their roster members leave AAA, a lot of them leave Lucha Underground. A lot of people, the only ones that were exceptions were Phoenix and Pentagon Dark, because they're so popular that they really can't let them go. They are biological brothers. I've seen them perform live. They're just as amazing live as they are in Lucha Underground.
okay, well then we got the end of the segment was when Ricky Mundo was talking to his doll Rosa, and she said something about everyone, or like his secret is safe with him or something, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess.
If it's not one
More
cricket
weird
gimmick,
shit in
it's
Lucha
another.
Underground. Some more weird shit going on there, but we're gonna skip on to that. We're gonna get into the opening match, which honestly was the first of two matches on the show. We had
Yep.
Jack Evans versus Exolicious. Now, Exolicious is a very flamboyant. You could say he's transgender, or however you float, whatever realm of the
The
50
case.
genders he may or may not be. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna dive into that. I'm a very much a proud supporter of the LGBT community, so I have no issues with this. I was
Yep.
expecting this guy to throw like a bunch of wussy slaps and prance around the ring, and but he impressed me a lot. Like this guy held his own with Jack Evans. I was pretty surprised. I mean, I'd never seen this guy wrestle before, but he definitely lit it up. I hope he I don't know. What are your opinions on Exolicious?
So you see, for me, I looked up who Exolicious was, and I found out that his independent name is Sonny Kiss, and a familiar friend of ours by the name of CJ. He was an independent wrestler in the city. Is a friend of his, and he told me information about him, and from clips, yeah, yeah, he works indie shows in New York now. He's an actual wrestler, so this is a friend of his. So, when I asked about him, like, hey, do you know anything about Exolicious? I'm like, yeah, like, he worked in my indie fed, and I looked up clips of him. The way you saw him in Lucha Underground is exactly the way he is in his independent fed. The flamboyant, gimmicky look, and then he comes up with painful arsenals, and it cuts you off guard because normally the generic stereotype of a flamboyant, androgynous, or homosexual type of gimmick, they're all flimsy and slappy dappy, but that wasn't the case for Exolicious.
Yeah, exactly. I was expecting that, but this guy, I mean, though I thought he was doing more twerking than I've seen many other female wrestlers do on Lucha Underground or any wrestling promotion for that reason. This guy was doing flips. He did the whole Kelly Killer thing when he did the handspring, moonsault, and then ended it with slap, which I thought was cool. He did a Matrix like Melina at one point when she used to do it back in the WWE days. I don't know if she still does it or not. I don't even know if she wrestles anymore.
She still does.
He was hitting a lot of moves that I was impressed by. And Jack Evans doing his thing. This dude is just
He's not slouch.
a living, breathing Ricochet that just so happens to be white and cool and awesome. I mean, not saying that Ricochet isn't cool and awesome, but Jack Evans is the white Ricochet, if you ask me. I always found Jack.
No, it should be the other way around. Ricochet is the tan Jack Evans. Remember, Jack Evans debuted way before Ricochet, so but like I said, Jack Evans never disappoints. His acrobatic skills are phenomenal. So, when people overhype Ricochet, I'm like, yeah, I saw Jack Evans first. Like, what do you mean? Like, Jack Evans was before Ricochet. I saw Jack Evans stuff in Mexico. So I expect, the super duper high fly stuff.
Exactly. There was actually a really cool spot in here where Jack Evans locked in I don't know what this was, but it was like a really nice modified triangle hold that he
Yeah, I
put
saw
into
that
an
too.
arm lock. I don't know what that was called, but that was really cool. I thought that should have ended the match, honestly, the way he had it applied. But EXO got out of it. His eyelashes coming off, which I kind of scoffed at a little bit. But yeah, I know. But the finish came when EXO and Jack Evans were positioned on the top rope. I thought Jack Evans was gonna do like the whole, oh, let's do a Spanish fly off the top rope. How everyone likes to do Spanish flies nowadays.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I saw that too.
EXO countered it with a face buster or a Bella Buster or an X Factor, whatever you want to call it. It was a face buster off the top rope for the pin. I thought, while it was a good match, I thought that the finish was kind of just there. I thought the finish should have came with Jack Evans landing that submission, or EXO did something different. I don't know. Lucha Underground does have a habit of having these really cool spots that never end the match, and then when the finish comes, you're like, I felt like this spot should have ended the match. It's one of the faults that Lucha Underground has. It's not too bad, but they do it more often than not. And it was noticeable here. It was like, okay, this should have ended the match. This should have ended the match. That match came and it was like, okay, I guess. I don't know. How do you feel? I feel like they do it a lot more than I feel like other companies do, but Ring of Honor does it too. But
No, they do. Let's see, they do stuff when when your company is based on super high spots. You have a tendency to think, oh, the match is over here, and then you're like, okay, and then you see another super duper high spot, and you're like, wait, like when is it gonna end? And then when it's a casual finish, you're like, that's it. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from, and sometimes it's one of my pet peeves of Lucha Underground where I'm like you hype us up to the freaking max to the point where we can die of cardiac arrest, and then they kick out, and then we're expecting something even higher than that, and then I see powerbomb slam 1 2 3, and you're like, what? So yeah, I totally get what you're coming from, Tyler, and I agree with you. Everyone's like, "Oh my God," he actually agrees with them how Lucha Underground is. Like, we're wrestling fans. We nitpick at the nitty gritty, but we're not like super at the end of the world. Like, oh, it's a sin, it's a blasphemy. You're like, this stuff is kind of.
yeah, we're a bunch of movie critics. Anyway, we then get on to the next segment, Exolicious 1. I want to see more of Exolicious. I really like what they had going on there with him, her, whatever.
Probably him. Probably him.
I think it's
yeah,
him.
It's just it's just a
They
gimmick.
said him on commentary, so I'm gonna go with him. So we then get to a segment with Pentagon Dark. I keep on wanting to call him Pentagon Junior because I'm so used to it, but I'm trying to get used to calling him Pentagon Dark.
Unless you want a lawsuit from AAA, we kind of call him Dark.
Or Pentagon L0M, however he's called outside of Lucha Underground. I don't know. Anyway, he gets in the ring, cutting a promo about how he defeated the Monster Matanza, and he's ready to take on all comers. This brings out Cage, who attacks Pentagon, laying him out, hitting him with the title, then hitting him with a powerbomb off the apron onto a table he set up, making his presence known. I was asking what happened to his Infinity Gauntlet, but then I realized, oh yeah, he lost it to King Cuerno, so that happened.
Yep.
I guess that's the next program we're getting, which is fine, I guess. I wasn't clamoring for a Cage Pentagon Dark feud, but okay.
None of us
I'm
were,
sure it won't disappoint.
no, because freaking Cage is a freak of nature. God knows what I would do if I met him in person. Actually, no, wait. I actually did meet him in person. Nice guy, but the Machine Cage, I'm kind of afraid of. I feel like, he can snap me like a twig, so I'll be nice to him. I'm looking forward to your match, Cage. And if you see this, please don't kill me. I'm a fan.
Oh yeah, I met him in real life before. He's a pretty nice guy. Really, really massive in real life. Like as big as he is on TV, he makes you feel puny when you walk up to him and you want to shake his hand.
I'm about his height. I'm as tall as him. And, seeing him in that mass, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Or I'm like, he can bench press me as a pre-workout.
Can't even with that guy. Anyway, we then move on to a backseat, which I thought was really funny. How we move on to a backseat segment with Melissa Santos and Phoenix, because I believe in real life, Cage is in a relationship with Melissa Santos. So
well, they are, and they have a child. So when I saw that, I'm like,
all the power to them.
Sneaky.
Well, Phoenix is in a relationship with Melissa Santos and Lucha Underground, and Melissa doesn't want Phoenix to die. She's afraid for him, and Phoenix gives her a kiss for good luck, which was... They had so many different angles of this kiss. I was like, okay, I get it. Move on.
I know. I said that. I'm like, hey.
That kiss went on for at least like 30 extra seconds. But then we got on to the main event. Phoenix versus Mil Muertes versus Jeremiah Crane in a grave consequences match. And as I said, this match really did deliver, guys. They went everywhere. Alex, you could cover a little bit more of this match. I took notes, but not as much as I should have because I got sidetracked here.
No, like I said, for both, first of all, Phoenix and King Cuerno, if you don't count Jeremiah Crane, they're 1-1 in great consequences. So, this was like a do or die for them. But like I said, oh my God, spots everywhere. Like, you see Jeremiah jump from here, Phoenix moonsaulting there. Hell, even Mil Muertes took a shot at the top rope, crossbody them. It's just like they were everywhere, and it's exactly what you expected from Lucha Underground. Like, I'm trying to rewatch this because I'm still, like, out of the blue, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like I said, matches like this are just like a proud Lucha fan, hardcore fan, the new, the trendy fan. So this, like, it was a match for all three types of fans.
Yeah. I will say this is one of those matches you have to go back and watch because there were spots galore in this match. They went up the stairs. Lucha Underground has stairs as their ramp. They went up the stairs, of course, as Phoenix and Mil Muertes will always do. They didn't go into the icebox area, but they were about to. That's when Mil Muertes started shutting the door onto Jeremiah Crane. Then he carried him into this one area of the upstairs area. Phoenix came out of nowhere, splashed on top of both of them. Mil Muertes teased, throwing Jeremiah Crane off the balcony, which I would not at all doubt that he would because Sami Callihan is just a crazy dude, but he did not.
He's a freak.
Oh, yeah. Got back into the middle of the ring. They started battling it out. Mil Muertes got knocked out of the ring at one point. That's where it became down to Phoenix and Jeremiah Crane. Phoenix got pile-driven through a table by Jeremiah, which was crazy. Jeremiah, destined to win this, went to push Phoenix's body into the coffin, which he did. And I was like, oh, shit, Phoenix is about to lose. Of course. Why wouldn't he? No, that's a lie, because he did beat Mil Muertes in one of the Grave Consequences match, so I cannot say that. So he was about to win a match when Ivelisse, much to my happiness, because I love Ivelisse. Not as much as I love Katrina, though, but I do like Ivelisse. She came out, red hair and all, which looked a bit ridiculous, but she came out with a hammer and just bopped him right in the leg, and I was like, okay, there's no way that hammer is real. There's no way that hammer is real, because if it was, she would have totally, like, ruptured something in his leg or something, and I knew it definitely wasn't real, because then she hit him in the arm. I'm like, yeah, no, that's
Or unless, like I said, freaking just out of all the shit that Sami Callihan's ever done, he probably has no more limbs anymore, and it's just like, meh.
Probably. She hit him in the arm and a leg with the hammer. Then she tried to hit him in the head, but she hit him in the arm again. They sold it as he hit him in the leg. Hit him in the arm, hit him in the head. He fell into the coffin, and she closed the coffin door, and Jeremiah Crane was still... Now, I thought this was kind of weird, because it's like, okay, I get that since he's in a coffin and it was closed that he lost, but wouldn't have made more sense if, like, she hit him, and then Phoenix closed the coffin, or Mil Muertes closed the coffin, or Katrina closed... Like, why did Ivelisse have to do it? Like, I didn't really get that.
No, I understood it because, in kayfabe, they were a couple, and, Jeremiah Crane turned on Ivelisse because he wanted to do the dirty with Katrina. Like, and let's be realistic, he doesn't have that much of a beef with Phoenix or Mil Muertes to the extent that he had with Ivelisse. So it was like poetic justice saying, you broke my heart and turned your back on me. I'm sending you to the grave. That way, realistically, we get the deal breaker between Mil Muertes and Phoenix, like the final one, because they both have one-on-one in each other. It's like, who's going to get that final one?
So Ivelisse, I want to say she won the match, but she didn't. I guess that was an elimination for Ivelisse, though she was not in the match once again. This led it to be Phoenix and Muertes, as I thought it would come down to those two. They battle it out for a good moment. Phoenix doing his spring. I am just always in amazement when Phoenix does this springboard from the middle rope to the top rope, and then he just nails Muertes in the head with that drop kick. I always pop huge for that. Muertes and Phoenix are just have amazing chemistry with each other. I could watch their matches all day long.
Oh man, so can I
So I actually kind of forgot part of the ending to the match. Do you remember it? I kind of forgot the ending to the match, how it ended. I remember who won, but I kind of forgot what the ending of the match was.
Oh, let's see. Well, at the ending of the match, obviously, boom. Yeah, it was after the ending, spoiler, actually not spoiler. Muertes finally won, but at the ending, if I'm not mistaken, the power of Phoenix was supposed to give Katrina her soul back, because she says the power of the Phoenix will rise her up from the dead. So she was holding that stone that controls Mil Muertes, and her soul is finally freed.
Yeah, Katrina looked like she's about to have sex with the coffin, which I was totally prepared for, but she did not. I was very disappointed. Then you would know the name for them. I really don't. They came out and took the coffin away as Mil Muertes stood in the ring as the winner.
Oh, yep. Los Dia de los Muertos skeletons. Yep.
So Mil Muertes wins the match. I did not have an issue with that. Anyone could have won. I would have been happy. But that was the end of the show. Well, no, actually, no, it was not the end of the show. That was not the end of the show, because then the last segment came. I was about to say Dario Cueto with Matanza and Antonio. So Matanza is bound. He wasn't bound. Basically, he was standing up in this area with his hands chained down. Antonio comes into the frame, talking about how he failed as a father, but more importantly, how Dario failed him as a brother. And it's like, he pulls out the key, and he's like, the only way you can become more of a god is if I release you. And he throws the key over to Matanza, and Matanza takes the key, and he balls his hands up, and like light starts glowing from it, and the key just breaks, and he roars, and the show ends. And I have a lot of questions here. First of all, if Matanza was a god this whole time, why the fuck didn't he just break out of the chains in the first place? Secondly, if he needs the key in order to get out of the chains, why didn't he unlock himself and then break out of the chain? I was sitting there like, I was very confused by this ending. At the same time, very amused. I did not know how to interpret this.
No, so for me, mythologies of gods and all that stuff, as a fan of I am. Think of it this way: the key is, like the Undertaker's urn, Mil Muertes stone. Like, it was the key to his power. Like, what restrained him? Like, if
no, I get that, but I was just sitting there like, wait, why did he break the key? But he's still in the chains. Like, shouldn't he have broken the chains too? Like,
no, the chains broke as soon as the key exploded in his hand.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that part. I thought he was still in the chains. I was sitting there like, huh? That didn't make any sense.
I relooked at it again, and that's what he did. As soon as he, destroyed the key, the chains evaporated from his wrists.
A lot of slavery undertones there, but that was Lucha Underground. While I wouldn't say it was the best episode of the 3 we had so far, definitely was a good episode as always. Between this and NXT, I would say that I would give the edge to NXT this week. I thought NXT was just slightly better with the main event and the way it was built up. I would say NXT was slightly better than Lucha Underground this week. Not to discourage Lucha Underground, say it wasn't a good episode at all, but I would give the edge to NXT. So far, it is NXT 1, Lucha Underground 2, in terms of the Wednesday Night Wars. Make sure you guys tune in to the rest of this. Thank you all for watching. Tune in to the rest of these Wednesday Night Wars that I do every Thursday morning for Lucha Underground and every Wednesday night for NXT. Hopefully, if you guys like to hear Alex's voice more often, let me know in the comment section down below. Like this video as always. I love you guys always, and I will talk to you all later. Peace out.